Hey, what's up, Ron? Bonjour, Camille. I'm Jonas here, and I'm having a conversation with
Alex Pope.
we're about to have a sit down at Pigwich, y'all. Let's get started.
Cool.
So, hey, first of all, I want to thank you for your time. Just in general, being a businessman like yourself, sitting down with me is a pleasure and an honor. The one thing that I always ask, and it's just going to start it off kind of in a corny way. What does an owner operator such as yourself eat for breakfast?
I actually don't eat much breakfast. The first thing I eat is usually I eat a lot of nuts, like mixed nuts. I've got cholesterol problems, so I try not to eat a ton of meat. But I do like protein, so like I'm trying to find ways to get protein that's not eating a whole bunch of meat. I mean, I still love meat. Don't get me wrong, but like. I just started statins. I gotta, you gotta live. You gotta do what you can.
So, here's something that I guess is just, let's go back into the history a little bit, right? Did you always know that you would be in the food industry?
Always no, but I kind of figured it out pretty early. I started my first job was working at Hardee's, but I didn't really think that was much of anything besides a summer job. The next one I did insurance work, and I did, from like 16, 17, 18, 19, I worked in insurance offices. It was just like a program through school. They had a crop insurance place they worked at, and I just did the paperwork. And it was terrible. I mean, it was so boring. It was just soul-sucking. And
did it give you an idea of the admin side of things?
I mean, sort of, but I mean, I was only half checked in. It was bad. It was not for me. So I decided on a whim, basically, that I needed another job, and I was working in college. I was in college. I needed something at nights because most of my classes were in the morning. So I thought, okay, restaurants. And I saw an ad in a paper that, hey, this restaurant is opening. And I thought, well, if they're opening, they probably need a lot of help, and they probably could take somebody that doesn't have a lot of experience. And so I just walked in, and that was that.
And then it just went from there.
Yeah, they put me on the line right away on salad station, and we opened the restaurant, and it was a blast.
Okay, so that's where you essentially found your love for food.
I caught the bug, man. Yeah. I mean, at first it was the adrenaline of cooking and being on a line, and that morphed into a general love of restaurants, food, cooking, all of it. But yeah, that's how I started.
So look, guys, you just got an origin story here. That's a hell of an origin story.
Just walk in, man.
From Hardee's to insurance to restaurant to
yeah.
I love it. That's a byline. We're excited. Okay, so would you consider yourself a foodie then?
I have never thought of myself in that way. I feel like that's more of someone who's on the fan side and not the production side. My wife will tell you I'm not the best person to go out to eat with because I can be critical. I will point out things that I've gotten much calmer about it in my as I've gotten older, but I don't know. I enjoy going out to eat, but I'm a lot more relaxed about it than I used to be. I've got 3 little kids, and like if we want to take them out, thanks, man. If we want to take them out, like. You've got to pick and choose what is going to be what's going to work.
As a grandfather of 5, I have really come to understand that you can't just I want this. You gotta. No, you need to eat this. No, you gotta.
No, I mean if you try and take them out of where they're going to be happy, they're not going to be happy, which will make you not happy. And then you've wasted the whole experience in and of itself.
Come on, guys. Come on. Who knew we'd be sitting down with the business owner and we get some gems? I just never know. Okay, so I want to ask, and this is definitely going to be a vague philosophical question, right? But where does Alex Pope end and where does Pigwich begin?
Yeah, I mean, my goal from day one has been to make that line as clear as possible, at the front door, or the back door. But I mean, a lot of, we first opened as a meat market, and a lot of meat markets will just say Pope's Meats, or, throw a last name on there. And I intentionally didn't want to do that. I feel like a business should have a life of its own, and, it's not me that does the vast majority of this work. So it's Pigwich, it's local pig. It's, I'm a co-owner in the place, and I set vision, and I do a lot of things, but I don't do much of what actually is produced here.
Okay. So like the meat and potatoes, right? You're passing that off to someone else.
Yes. Like my jobs are, doing a lot of planning, a lot of emails, a lot of big picture stuff, but someone else can do that. Like this is, to be a little crass about it, this is a business that, someone else could own it, hopefully, and it would still be successful. And it's not, because the systems are set up, and the systems aren't me doing stuff. The systems are here, all the lists of all the things you're going to do to be successful.
Well, I have to say though, Pigwich is definitely a staple to me in the KC community when it comes to food. I mean, I found you through foodie channels, right?
Yes,
so it's like you guys
are
the foodie people. And this is, I always take a moment and give my guests my time, their kudos, their flowers. And I definitely have to just take a moment and say thank you, because I've been able to have experiences and memories that have been generated right here through Pigwich. And so it's just like, oh my God, this is awesome, right? Multiple of my grandchildren know this place, and there's a lot of people that are in that same boat. So thank you for what you do. And though you may not be, the cog in that sense, I get what you're saying. I feel like the personality of you still shines through in a lot of ways.
Well, thank you, and I think that's going to be inevitable. Like the decisions that we make to change things are, I talk to folks about it, but it is ultimately like, when we put the new signs up or do the new paintings, like I'm picking the guy that does it. We're picking the colors, so. You gotta continue to make it. I couldn't make it not be me, if I wanted to. So
there it is, guys. Okay, so let's talk about the move to City Market.
Yeah.
This is what I think you guys are about year 4 or 5 now.
Yeah, we moved in 2019.
Okay, so I feel like that was a pretty big move.
It was pretty big for us.
So obviously, are you happy with the move? Do you miss the West Bottoms in any way? And do you miss the trains?
Let's start with that. No. The saying was always getting train fucked, and like everyone would come in, every day, like, did you get train fucked today?
Yeah.
Yes or no? There are 7 different ways to get to Local Pig from every different direction, and like you have to know all of them because the trains will always block you. So, no, I don't. I miss parts of the West Bottoms. I miss some of the people that worked there at the time. It was a different vibe, and I loved it, but it was ultimately a business. That business is almost like a totally different business. We kind of started, we reworked everything. Everything in here was set up. We turned off the lights there and came here in one day because it was just like we just built a different business.
Okay, so it was like almost a clean slate, like they were just starting.
Yep. I mean, some of the menu items were the same, but we had to do things. We took some things away. We changed a lot of things. It was a big change, and it was really necessary. We outgrew that space. That building was built in the 1880s, and it was not meant for a 7-day-a-week bustling business. We pushed that building to its limits, and we looked at buying that building, and it was not a feasible, endeavor to rework that building. So we needed somewhere we needed a new home. Our lease was up, and it was time to find a new home. And we pissed a lot of people off. We lost a lot of Local Pig traffic.
Really?
Yeah.
It seemed like a smooth transition.
Well, it was, but like our Local Pig revenue year 1 went down about 25%. And it's back up to where it used to be because we found new customers. But there was a lot of folks that they don't like City Market. They don't want to park. They don't want to park. Even though there's free parking right there. Like you just park there, it's free. But it's too much. I don't know. That was the feedback I got in person was, I'm gonna miss it because I ain't never come to City Market.
welcome to City Market.
Yeah, but the Pigwich side, completely exploded. Immediately we quadrupled our revenue. There was more people. We had alcohol, we had French fries, we had indoor seating, all those things we did not have.
French fries.
The French fries,
since the friendships days. I like the fried chips, but
The chips are great.
I'm happy with French
The
fries.
French fries are awesome.
Thank you.
Yes. We spent like 6 months working on that French fry seasoning to make it really slam. And they're great fries.
So I want to ask you, what's the favorite part of what you do?
That's a great question. I think probably the relationships I get to have with the folks that work here, like watching them get better at what they do, and watching them, thrive. And we do some things, like we do 4-day work weeks. We close early on. We could stay open later, but it's really nice to close at 7 p.m. It is. Like it is. And 4 days a week is awesome. So, we have a great staff. And, it's a restaurant. There is turnover, but a lot of our staff are long-term. And, and just watching them, I've tried in the last 3 years to slowly step back, and let them take more and more and more. And they're doing awesome at it.
Speaking of staff that have been here forever, how bad are Shane's jokes? And does he actually do any work?
He actually does a lot of work.
Okay.
And his jokes are actually terrible. Yes. But no. Shane is one of our co-GMs, so we have 2 general managers. They each work 4 days, so we have an overlap, and 2 chefs. So we have an overlap day on Wednesday where everybody's here. We'll have a big meeting. But each of those people work 4 days a week, 95% of the time. So it's great. They have, when one of them goes on vacation, the other one steps in, and when one needs a day off, the other one can step in.
It's great balance.
It's nice balance. Yeah, it is.
So there's no instances of the bear. I'm sure you've seen the bear.
I have watched about 10 minutes and I was like, this is too much PTSD for me and I'm out of here. I don't want to, I put all of that nonsense kitchens. I mean, yes, it was like literally like, that's what it was like for me. Not literally like that, but I mean, it is like it can be very stressful, and it is still a restaurant. We're still busy. There are still times that are stressful. Comes with the territory, but trying to do what we can do to make it as good of a place as possible to work. There's always work to do, but like it is a goal. It is a stated goal.
For us on the outside, everyone has a rough day. When you come in, everyone's smiling, or they're at least like, hey, I'm going to make an effort to give you good energy when I get here for you. So you all have what you need.
Thanks, man. Yeah, we make a point. It's part of the vision.
So, and this may not even apply to you, but what kind of music are you listening to while you're working?
It depends on work I'm doing. If I'm focusing, I put on like random lo-fi hip hop beat stations, just something no vocals. And then if I'm driving, I'm actually usually listening to podcasts. And then if I'm cooking, like at home, like I do cook, but I just cook for my family now, so I like to come home and cook. And a lot of different things, a lot of instrumental stuff still. I like things with horns. I like, just a bit all over the place. But
I was expecting jazz. So
you're not. That is definitely in my. And not, I can't get into old school jazz, but like like the old. It's just the pacing is not there for me. But like
John Coltrane.
No, I don't even. The sad thing is I don't even know the names of these artists because I'll just put on a Spotify playlist and then just let it go, and like it's just jamming. I'm like, okay, this is cool. I like this. Yeah.
Next thing you know, he's whipped up on me.
Yeah.
Okay, so this one's a little tongue-in-cheek, but it's for me to understand. Artisanal versus rustic.
Okay.
What's the difference?
Man, I don't know. They're both. Artisanal is inherently made by people who are trying to be artistic about what they're doing, like craftsmanly.
So there's a creative effort.
So that is, I think it implies made with as few machines as possible. Now, of course, you're going to still use machines when it makes sense, but, you're not just taking something out of the Cisco box and dumping it in the fryer, which, we do that with our French fries. That's, they make the best French fries. But, we also make a lot of other stuff. And then rustic is intentionally trying to pull back ingredients, I feel like. So, if you're going to use 5 ingredients, make sure they're really excellent ingredients, and take time to look at the technique and try and work on that.
So where would Pigwich fall in that sense of things?
Not on the rustic side inherently, I wouldn't think. Maybe just a bit in the middle. Like, you know, we do we make a lot of the stuff we make, but we've also learned to make it in really big batches, and you know, use the right machines to keep, you know, our labor down. And those things, they can work because, I mean, you know, we still follow good recipes, use good ingredients, but you know, to a degree, we're in the middle. Yeah.
I mean, I just like an artisanal burger.
Yeah. And that's, you know, and maybe artisanal is just not normal, right? Like, you know, maybe, you know, the artisanal, you know, our cheddar truffle burger, you know, like we use real truffles, we use wild porcinis in that sauce. Like we do that because the stuff tastes good. We make tomato jam because, you know, those are the recipes.
So I was not a fan of lettuce on my burger until I had the Pigwich burgers, and I like the mix that you have.
I'm with you, man. Yeah, we didn't have iceberg lettuce till we moved here, and it was always something people asked for in the truck in the old days, and it was like, nah, we're not gonna do it. But you know, when we moved here, it's like, all right, fine, we're gonna put the iceberg lettuce. But we still have arugula on the majority of things that have lettuce. It's just, it's got a little more flavor.
Make sure it's not going away.
No, it's not going away.
So look, I appreciate your time. I just got a couple more questions. I know you're busy. I think we kind of got the answer to this already, but I'm going to ask. Has running a food business sharpened or dulled your taste buds?
That's a good question. To a degree, this is a terrible answer, but both. I think I'm able to be more critical of any food that I'm eating, but I care less about the execution at the end of the day than I used to, because, you know, at first, you know, when you're young, you're seeking the knowledge of how to do stuff. So, like, you can be critical in a sense that, like, oh my God, that's amazing, I didn't know how to do that. And as you gain more knowledge and you understand how things work, you can say, well, you know, this isn't as good as it could have been, but I understand why they made this choice, and like I empathize with that choice, and that's cool with me. So, you know, I think I'm as good or better at figuring out like different challenges of how to make some food, but a lot more forgiving for, and you know, on how you get there, you know, is, you know,
as long as it tastes good or we're getting
like you know. Not everything has to be 100% effort. You know, like you can. It's not to say that everybody here isn't making 100% effort, but you know, if you go to a restaurant and they have menu items that don't take risks, that's okay. Like they are doing that because people want that, and that doesn't mean they're not good chefs. It means they're listening to the customers.
Because we don't all have to be edgy.
Yes, like you gotta like. There are people that just want, like our fried chicken sandwich is very basic, and it is, you know, we think we do it well. It's good, it's executed well, but like it doesn't have to be, you know, groundbreaking.
Right. You know,
yeah.
I love it. Okay. A little bit of a tangent.
Yeah.
If there was a biopic, if there was a movie made about Pigwich, who would play Alex Pope?
I have no idea. I'm gonna dodge that question. Yeah.
What is the longest running or oldest recipe? You don't have to disclose the recipe, but the longest running recipe or item that you guys have.
Yeah, I mean, our cheddar truffle burger was the first burger we put on, and it has not changed one bit. We changed to a gluten-free soy sauce about 5 years ago in the brine for the pickles. But other than that, that's the exact same menu item we put out. That's the exact same menu item we put out on day one.
Wow, so that's like decades old.
That is, like 12 years old. Yeah.
Okay. Now this one is one that you guys know, because normally we stop and pay some bills to our sponsors. We're actually talking to our sponsor right now. So we're going to hit him with the question we ask all the other people. So down here at the historic Rivermarket, they have off-menu specials always available at Pigwich. You don't even have to ask anything, just check the list. I'm going to ask you though, Alex Pope, if you knew of a place that has an off-menu special, it's not listed, how would you go about asking for that off-menu item?
Ah, that's right. So, like, you're saying if it was truly unlisted, yes. I would probably ask for the chef special and look for any sort of, like, facial recognition, and then follow up with any further, like, I've heard there's things here that aren't completely listed. Do you have any advice on what to order in that front?
Okay. I like that. Chef special, and then like, what are you thinking?
Yeah.
Little bait switch a little bit. I like that. All right. Now this next question comes from our sponsor, Thrax Pastry. Nothing for sale, just a suggestion where you can spend some time. I want to ask what we call the apology dish. So the way this works, let's say Shane pisses you off on shift. Okay. Now he says the right things, so you're good again.
Yeah.
You're going to apologize. You've had a discussion. What's that dish that he can bring you that lets you know that, oh, you get me? Come on, let's go hang out and watch some football.
Sure. Man, might be some donuts, man. I really do. I'm kind of a sucker I don't eat a ton of sweets, but when I do, I really like donuts.
Donuts. I don't think we got one yet. I think we got donuts. All right, but Shane, take note.
Right,
box of donuts.
Yeah, he doesn't piss me off.
So, I want to ask this one on the way out. Actually, I have two questions. One that I ask everyone and one I want to ask you. How has running a business enhanced or hindered your life?
It's kind of a over time answer. The first 24, 36 months were difficult. It was a working 7 days a week, type of thing. And my amazing wife, Amy, was well prepped for what this was going to be. She took it in stride. We were young. We didn't have any kids. It was a good time to do that. So she was still kind of finishing up her degree for some of that, and then working, at a new job for some of that. So for a while, it was a hindrance to my social life and, like, seeing people that didn't, come to the shop. But after getting over that hump, it's been great. I have tried to focus the things that I want to get out of this business on making sure I have time. I get a lot of time. Like, I get weekends off. I'm out of here usually around 4. It's like when my kids were in daycare, I could pick them up. I could drop them off. I could.
Oh, so you're present.
Yeah, like I could, have less people here and do some of their work, and that's always an option. But I don't need to take that option right now, and that's that's what I want. I mean, you only get a shot at those 10 years when your kids really are growing up and they like you, and you don't get a do-over. You can't do that in 30 years. Like, I can work a whole bunch in 30 years if I want to, or 20 years or 10 years. I mean, my oldest is 11. I mean, she's gonna be gone in 7 years or 8 years. Yeah, so having this chunk of time where I still go to work every day, but I can be home and cook dinner and have weekends off. That's priceless. So that's what I get out of this business, and we do, for our staff, we try and get them 1 weekend day off in 4 days, so they get a chance to have that experience too.
Okay, so you're passing on the benefits that you get.
I mean, I try. It is, if I can, I try. Yeah, it's not. Yeah.
All right, so here's the last question as we get up out of here. And this is something I ask all of my creators, all my talent, all my guests that come. I have to twist it up a little bit for you. Okay. So when it's all said and done, when the burger is served and the meal's been eaten and people are walking in, what's the experience that you want your customers, your fans, your guests to walk away with as they leave Pigwich?
Yeah,
hopefully come back another time.
That's right. You can come back anytime, 7 days a week. I hope people, first of all, ate everything and feel like they man, that was a great sandwich, that was a great burger, and that was a great value. Like, we could potentially charge a little more than we do, and I don't like, we want to try and make sure we're accessible to anybody that wants to walk in here with a family. I mean, we do the locally sourced meats. That is an added expense, but I mean, I want people to say, man, that was amazing, and hopefully say that was a pretty good deal too. And like everybody I interacted with was nice, and the place was clean, reasonably clean. Like if 500 people walk through here and you come through on a 6:30 on a Saturday, it's not going to be sparkling clean. And like I understand what the expectations are for these guys to do that. But and almost all of my guests are extremely understanding as well. And yeah.
No, this place is sparkling every time you come through here. People are smiling. I have to say that the energy and everything about this place is very endearing, very family-oriented. I definitely love the fact that one of the big things for me was when we moved from the bottoms here, the change in setting, I was able to see more whimsy and more whimsical, fun, and innovative DIY feeling. So I love it.
Did you recognize this? Remember what this was? That was the fence around the patio. So we took the fence down and painted it and hung it up. Yeah.
Come on. Yeah. Come on. You gotta sprinkle some salt with that, guys.
Yeah.
But, all right, so I gotta get up out of here. Thank you so much for your time. I'm Jonas, and I just had a hell of a conversation with
Alex Boat.
Thank you so much.
Thanks, man.
Hey, as I like to end all of my segments, love yourself like you try to love the world. Do something to earn your place in the world this week. And just be a dope individual. Y'all have a good one. Peace.